Happy Friday afternoon as we roll into New Year's weekend. I can't wait for New Year's Day, but we are continuing our East Alabama preview of wrestling teams, and today we are going as far as you can get to the Georgia state line, and that is the Ranburne Bulldogs. We're going to talk with Coach Meter and the Bulldogs about the season up to this point and preview everything Ranburne Bulldogs wrestling. And I got to tell you guys, if you have not already, follow our East Alabama Now page so you don't miss any of our East Alabama wrestling or basketball coverage, recaps, stats, interviews, highlights, broadcasted events. There's so many things that are going on right here on East Alabama Now. Speaking of broadcasted events, this upcoming Wednesday on January 3rd, we'll be out at White Plains High School broadcasting live from the Calhoun County Wrestling Tournament. So make sure you tune in right here to our East Alabama Now broadcast as we bring you your local coverage of East Alabama wrestling. Also, if you've not already, follow our EAN news page. Mike Stedham, he's so talented, one of the smartest guys you ever meet. He's like a human dictionary on feet. He's going to bring you your local news along with Katie Edwards, the wonderful, genuine, kind Katie Edwards. They bring you your local news every single night right here in East Alabama. And John Weather, he isn't just a football guy. He knows a thing or two about tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis. It doesn't matter. He brings you your local weather, and he has weather on your street. And that is John Holder again. And then I bring you your local sports, previewing all of the basketball action and wrestling action for the weekend. EA News is actually off tonight, but we hope you'll join us back right after New Year's as we continue back on a normal schedule. We're talking Ranburne Bulldog Wrestling, though. Coach Meter's team is, like a lot of teams, looking to get healthy, whether it's from injury, whether it's from sickness. Their team has been compromised, like many, from something we call the Germ-X. What I mean here is sickness, okay? It's spreading like a wildfire in a lot of programs, and they're certainly the one that's took the latest touch. They're looking to get healthy. Coach Meter's looking forward to their schedule ahead. And this is a team that took 8 guys to the state tournament just 1 year ago in Huntsville. It was Carter Driver at the 106-pound weight class, Braden Driver at the 126-pound weight class, Miles Williamson at 145, John Lexon Caldwell at 152, who was the only senior for the Bulldogs a year ago, he was one of 2 seniors that made the state tournament for the Bulldogs. Curtis Daniel at 160, Zach Buchanan at 170, arguably one of the best wrestlers for the Bulldogs this year. Zayden Benefield at 220 and Carson Hall at 285. Now, most people know Carson Hall was indeed a state champion at the 285-pound weight class, went undefeated for the Bulldogs, and is certainly someone that they have had to replace this year. And it's going to be interesting to see how the 285-pound weight class shapes up now that Carson Hall has come and gone. Aiden Cockrell looks to be the favorite. Again, looking back at, this team that took 8 guys to the state tournament, one of their best wrestlers this year has no question been Zach Buchanan, who has been undefeated up to this point in the season, had a great showing. Curtis Daniel placed 6th place last year at the 160-pound weight class. John Lexon Caldwell, again, who's gone to graduation, but he placed 5th place for the Bulldogs. And again, just looking at this team that, you take 8 guys to a state tournament, that is impressive, especially in Class 1A through 4A. And Braden Driver's another guy that you're going to hear from that they've depended on, who made it last year, finished 5th place at the 126-pound weight class. And that's kind of been a name in Ranburne, is the Drivers, and for good reasons, because they're very talented. We are going to talk with Zach Buchanan. We are going to talk with Driver. We're going to talk with Coach Meter. But looking at the season the rest of the way, now that we've kind of gotten through Christmas, getting up to New Year's, this is the team that turns their attention to Cleburne County, that one-on-one battle right there down that highway. They look at the Rumble in the Jungle tournament. They're going to host 2 tri-meets back-to-back. They get a quad with Piedmont, Lincoln, Sacs. Then they're going to get another tri-meet. They've got Sacs in Cleburne County later on. They've got the Donnie Belzer Memorial, and then they've got another tri-meet, and then a tri-match, and then they get the Piedmont Dogfight. You've got region duels. This is a team Coach Meter is going to tell you he doesn't like to play the statistics game. He doesn't like to move guys around. He wants his guys to wrestle where they want to wrestle, start to finish, and they're going to come at you with that. They're not going to try to beat you with the numbers and all this stuff. They're going to say, hey, we're going to put our best 14 wrestlers on that mat, and you put your best 14 wrestlers on that mat, and if you can beat us, you can beat us. And you may wonder, where did Coach Meter come from? Well, this is a guy that served in the military. It was in Afghanistan. People ask him, Coach, how did you come to Ranburne? Where did you come from? He'll tell you, Afghanistan. He was serving in the military, but he spent some time with another really great coach in the state of Alabama, and Coach Jeff Coate. He's going to talk about their personal relationship, talk about what he learned under him, and a lot more. And so Coach Meter is going to be coming up in just a minute. And then we're also going to talk with Zach Buchanan, who's undefeated up to this point in the season, has been really, really good for the Bulldogs. And he is someone that, again, he has aspirations to be a WWE superstar. Now, this is true. He like pro entertainment. His brother's actually already in the WWE. He's in the NXT. So he is in the development coming up into trying to get on the main roster. So that's something we're going to talk about with him. And for Mr. Driver, he doesn't want to be in the WWE. He just wants to enjoy his high school wrestling career and see what comes after. So, hey, let's go ahead and do less of me, more of those guys. So we're going to go ahead and transition into a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk with the head coach of the Ranburne Bulldogs, Coach Meter. Don't go away. You're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston and you can pick out what you like, want, and need, and they can do that there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Welborn Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room. Welcome back into the locker room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts, joined by the head coach of the Ranburne Bulldogs wrestling program, Coach Jason Meter. Coach, thank you for taking time to be with us today.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Coach, let's just talk about how you kind of got into the sport of wrestling. You've been at Ranburne now for about 5 years, I believe. But kind of just talk about your wrestling background. Obviously, you have one. Some coaches don't. Just talk about what got you into the sport.
So I started wrestling when I was up in Huntsville at Grissom High School. Of course, you know, life happens as it does. Things change. But whenever I was in the active duty military, I wrestled some. Fought MMA for some years, so I always stayed active in the sport. So I've just kept it going, and then my son wrestled, so I started coaching him when he was at Aniana back in youth wrestling. Then I started coaching their high school team as well, so I've been in the sport since 2003.
Absolutely. Coach, talk about Ranburne, though, this program, what brought you to this program. Obviously, like I said, 5 years now, but kind of you just popped up out of, people that were in the sport knew you, but people around here is just like, well, there's just a big Jack guy now at Ranburne, but kind of talk about what got you to Ranburne.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was at Leeds High School before I went to Afghanistan. And when I went to Afghanistan, I was actually going to go to Moody High School with Greg Jeffcoat and things worked out here. Of course, when I got here, everybody's like, "Where'd you come from?" And my answer is, "Well, I came from Afghanistan," and they're all looking at me kind of crazy. But once I told them the story, they understood. So that's how I ended up here, though. Literally, it was just, honestly, I guess a luck and a prayer all at once, because I love it here. This is the best school ever that I've coached at. The support that I have here is unlike any other. I couldn't ask for any other support than what I have. I mean, this is truly the best place I've ever been to coach wrestling.
Coach, there's two types of people that I have tremendous amount of respect for. It's our military and it's teachers. Those are two people that I feel like just don't get enough credit for what they do. My brother's at boot camp right now for the Navy. My best friend's in the Air Force. My granddad served in the Army. So a ton of respect. I appreciate you for your service. But with that, obviously, you've got a wrestling background and a military background. Those two do go together in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The discipline required for this sport is unlike any other sport. I coach football here too. And I mean, I love coaching football, and there's a lot of discipline in football. But for wrestling, because of the aspect of the dieting that comes along with this sport and the amount of condition you got to have for this is unlike any other sport that you'll do in high school and even college. And I think that's where my military background really does help a lot with the discipline and the fact of what it takes to be a soldier, because I was a combat soldier. So the level of, training that we do and what's required of your body is pretty demanding, but overcoming the mental aspect of it truly is the hardest thing, and getting these guys mentally, physically fit on top of it is huge and key, and I think it does help being prior service. I'm still in the Guard now, but not active duty anymore.
Coach, obviously people look at this program right now. Zach Buchanan's kind of that first guy that comes to mind. We're going to talk with him in the next segment. But, Coach, outside of that, each year you have graduation. Like, you're going to lose Zach after this season. Kind of talk about last year and the guys you lost a year ago that aren't here this year that were very valuable to your program.
First name, of course, that comes up is Carson Hall. 3-time state champion heavyweight. He was runner-up his 9th grade at 220. John Lexon Caldwell, my 152. Brent Lovren was another one. That was 3 seniors that we lost. Those are tough to lose. Of course, replacing a 3-time state champion is pretty tough to overcome. But our heavyweight this year, Zayden Benefield, has done good. He won first in our tournament this weekend. But filling those shoes right there for those 3 guys is a huge thing, because of not just what they bring on the mat, but off the mat, the leadership, the quality of leadership they bring. Knowing how to lead the right way, too, is also something that you can't really coach. It's something they learn over time, and that right there is a huge thing to lose.
Coach, we talked about Zach Buchanan, but also Carter Driver's another really good wrestler for you right there at 113. But outside of those two, it is a little bit of a younger team in a way that kind of is still trying to find its way. Just talk about guys outside of those two that you've definitely seen improve since the beginning of the season.
So Zayden Benefield will be, of course, the first one that comes to mind, because he is our heavyweight that's backed up Carson. He started off the season kind of rocky at the Welborn tournament, and now here he is getting first place and placing of the past 2 tournaments. And he's placed in every tournament, but he's really turning over a new leaf. Seeing Braden Driver starting to come along, starting to get healthy, and I think that's been our biggest problem this year is sickness, and it's going not just us, it's everybody. Strep, flu, stomach bug, and everything. It's a lot. But Hunter Holsey's back. He got hurt at the Piedmont tournament last year, snapped his elbow, dislocated it. So getting him back and getting him in shape. Of course, he missed 2 weeks of practice being sick. I mean, it's just trying to get these guys healthy. And it's not from wrestling. It's just from illness. And that's what's like, this has been an unreal year, worse than COVID. COVID year, we didn't see this. Yeah. And now this year, it's like every school we wrestle is sick. Like Ohatchee, they came to us and they only had 4 kids because they've got 19 on their team. And that's all they had was 4, because everybody is sick. And that's been the hardest thing, is just really, I can't see where anybody's at right now, because everybody's sick every day, it seems like. I just wait for my phone to go off and okay, well, he ain't coming, he's sick, he's got the flu. So really right now it's just trying to get everybody on weight and see what we're going to look like once we have a full team.
Yeah, sickness is definitely spread. I was at the Welborn tournament that weekend broadcasting, and the next morning I wake up with a stomach virus. And I'm just like, what in the world? Yesterday was normal broadcasting day. And then I see Welborn's Facebook, hey, no practice, stomach virus running. I'm like, well, there's where I got it. And then Cleburne County's got it running, and then White Plains has had their share of it. So it has really, hit everybody, it seems like, this year. But kind of Christmas time, now that we've kind of reached that midpoint of the season, you get 2 extra pounds, guys start shifting, going down weight classes, you're essentially kind of restarting in a way because a lot of guys are changing weight classes. You get into that duels tournament where you're trying to get into the playoffs or, you know, make it deep for the duels. You guys have experience right there in duels in terms of being successful. Just talk about kind of the mindset of not resetting completely, but almost seeing a shift, and really this is where teams kind of get themselves set for sectionals.
Yeah, so the regional duels coming up, it's going to be interesting to see how we actually do in a duels environment with our full lineup and roster. My mindset's a little bit different than others. Christmas weight really doesn't mean anything to me. I keep my guys on normal weight. I think that's safer. I don't have to worry about anybody busting weight, but it gives us a little bit of slack in case something does happen. But as far as our lineup and stuff goes, I mean, I'm a firm believer, like, what you're going to wrestle at sectionals, why don't you wrestle that at duels? What are you scared of? Why are you dodging me? Wrestle what you're supposed to wrestle. Don't play the game and let me change my roster 800 times and all that crap, whatever. Here's my roster. Let's do it. If your kid's that good, then prove it. If you ain't, then bounce them around because you're scared. And that, to me, is what I think is hilarious about regional duels. I get the gamesmanship of it, but all these coaches that go through all these analytics and all that stuff, whatever. I ain't got time for that. This is my lineup. This is what I got. If I beat you with it, I beat you with it. And if I don't, then you don't. 5 years I've been here. This is my 4th year together. Altogether, we went to state duels championship twice. 1 through 5A, we did it. 1 through 4A, we did it. Granted, we lost both times, so we're like the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. Ain't won it yet, but we did it with what we had. You know, I don't need to look at your roster and try to figure out who weighed what and all that. I don't care. I really don't care. This is who I'm wrestling. Bring it. If you beat me, fine. That's fine. What's he going to wrestle at sectionals? Okay, good job. You beat me in a duels match, whatever. But if I beat you at sectionals with him or state, then to me, I'm like, that worked out well. Leave him where he should have been. Don't dodge me.
Yeah. Coach, I think that's interesting because we see that a lot where guys go up and down, and kind of, I guess, the motto at Ramburn is, hey, we're just going to come right at you, and we're not going to try to do anything different than just come right at you. We're going to trust the process of what we put in every single day. Right. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I was in high school, I was the analytic guy. I went to coach before he wrestled Weaver. Alex Andrews said, "Hi, coach. Here's what we got to do. If this goes this way, we got to be evens. If we're evens, you know." Yeah. But obviously, you know, we had, you know, a couple weaknesses throughout our lineup. You've been really strong top to bottom, and this year's no different. Obviously, Carter Driver, who's, you know, we're going to talk to in a minute, is obviously wanting to drop to 106 after Christmas. Right. You've got Buchanan at the upper weight class, so you've got really good balance between the smaller weight classes and the larger, and that's important, is having that balance. So just talk about that balance your lineup has from top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to know that I can look through like 106, 113, and a couple of other weight classes, you know, 175, heavyweight and stuff, know that I'm good where I am. Even if I wanted to bump them, would it help? I mean, I get it to a point. But at the same time, though, I've seen too many coaches go and do the dance, and then they always come to me afterwards and say, well, if I just left my roster alone, we would have beat you. I'm like, well, we'll never know because you didn't. So whatever. I'm going to take my word for it and say that we'd have beat you either way. Mm-hmm. But it is nice to have, you know, the room to know that your guys are good at dropping and where they want to go and where they fit in best. But in all honesty, though, I just ask them to get out here and work every day and practice as hard as they can and get ready for whatever may come, you know, because they might have to step up and something could happen. I might need them to bump up for the day because of an injury or a sickness or something like that. And having some success maybe at 165 and then bump up to 75 because, like, Zach was sick this weekend, you know, at our tournament. He didn't even wrestle. You know, I could have bumped Curtis Daniel up to 75, but why? He needs experience at 65, so just leave him there, you know. So we don't have the depth either, you know, really, because we are young. I don't have 4 kids sitting at 106 that I can drop down and say, okay, well, I can move all year round and do that. We don't have that. We've got 29 wrestlers, but we also have a lot of inexperienced wrestlers too.
Coach, you're about as far as you can get over to Georgia, so traveling for you when you want to wrestle teams, y'all put your miles in, needless to say. Yes. So, Coach, just talk about I wouldn't say difficulty, but the challenges you guys have in trying to build a schedule, knowing you don't have any Roanoke teams down here. It's either go to Georgia, which you probably do a little bit, but it's a lot of you got to go to Calhoun County about every night to wrestle teams.
Yeah, I mean, the traveling part is a pain. Honestly, what the hardest problem we have here, though, honestly, is getting everybody to understand that we're in Alabama. We use Alabama time for everything. We're not in Georgia. I don't give any times out in any other time zone but Central. And it's amazing how many people ask me, even our own wrestlers, our wrestling parents, is this Alabama time or Georgia? Why would I use Georgia time? We're in Alabama. But I get it because they might work in Georgia. They live in Georgia possibly, or right there on that line too. So, and over here you got to watch your phone because it might switch over to Georgia time, even though it's on Alabama time. It should be. So, but yeah, I mean, traveling's a thing which comes into money. You know, so we have to watch our budget and make sure that we're smart with our finances and stuff and watch the extras and things like that. So we do fundraisers and stuff to help kind of offset the amount of travel that we have to do to compensate for us being out here pretty much in the middle of nowhere. But I love it. I love it here.
I told people on my show last week when I was, or a couple weeks ago, when I was talking about y'all's tournament, I said, all right, if you're looking to get to Ranburne and you're in the middle of nowhere, you're in the right place because Ranburne's in the middle of nowhere. That's right. Coach, I got 2 questions left. You coached a lot under Jeff Coate. You talked about that at Leeds. I kind of almost went to Moody with him. He's now down at Daphne, and boy, they are making some noise down there. Definitely a surprise team. Just talk about Jeff Coate and just kind of the friendship you guys have, just how he's helped you in your coaching career.
So Jeff Coate and me go way back. Jeff Coate fought MMA. I fought MMA. We've been friends since he was coaching at Pinson Valley. And I was coaching at Aniana back when Irwin still had a school. So this is telling our age on both of us. But it was kind of funny because I've always been a head coach. And then going down to Leeds with him, I was his assistant. But, you know, we bounced things off of each other and everything. And truly, I think we both helped each other as far as our coaching styles went, because we are 2 different coaches, totally different. If you've ever been around Jeff Coate, me and him have our own differences on the way we coach and the way we practice. So truly, I think it kind of balanced each other out, you know, not like a husband and a wife, but more like brothers, you know, learning how to share the Xbox, you know, the one controller you got, and it's my turn to play, you know what I mean? So we kind of balanced each other out, though. But, I mean, I love him to death. I'm proud of him for going down to Daphne and doing what he's done down there. You know, I'm jealous that he's at the beach and I'm not, but it's okay. I know, man. But I love it up here. I love it up here. I'm so happy. I mean, one day when I retire, that's where I'm heading. And hopefully he'll still be down there so I can go down there and hang out with him too, definitely. But no, me and him are close as can be, always have been. I love him to death, proud to see everything that he's done, and he's been a great friend for years.
Y'all are 2 jack dudes. Who you think squats more?
Jeff Coate's hips are bad, so I'm going to win that one right now.
All right, Coach, last question. Zach Buchanan, Carter Driver, that's the 2 guys we're going to talk to in our next segment. Just talk about those 2 guys and why you chose them 2 specifically.
So Zach's a senior. He's been on this team since I've been here. Pretty much, I mean, I kind of looked at it like, who do I want to interview who will actually speak well and not like get the stone face and not really know what to say. And Zach doing his little pro wrestling stuff that he does, I knew Zach could be fine. And but also the leadership that he brings to this team. And, you know, he's stepped up a lot this year and really showing what a senior should be. And I really appreciate it. And Carter Driver is different than Braden Driver, his little brother Walker Driver, his older brother Johnston. I mean, they're all their own person, which is great. But Carter has that personality. He speaks well, but he's got a different motor. And his motor is a lot like Zach's. I mean, he is wide open at practice. He drills hard all the time, and he just works and works and works. If he ain't feeling good, he's going to be at practice. I mean, he's just one of those kids. His work ethic and what he shows, even though he's only 108 pounds, 107 pounds, he's got the heart of a lion. And, I mean, he is a true warrior. And seeing that kind of stuff, I think he earned a shot to get up here and speak too, for sure.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you so much. When we come back, we will talk with 2 Ranburne wrestlers. Don't go away. You're watching The Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
Welcome to Room by Room Home Furnishings, a locally owned and operated furniture store located in Oxford, Alabama. We've been serving Northeast Alabama and the surrounding area since 2007. We offer stylish and affordable new arrivals and all the top trends to help you get a cozy and homey atmosphere with hand-picked home furnishings and decor to fit anybody's style and budget with knowledge, personality, and good vibes. Let Room by Room in Oxford, Alabama help you score amazing deals and turn your house into a home.
Wait! This isn't a game. It's your basement. It's filling with water. And even worse, it's 2 a.m. Who are you going to call? Time's up. We'll come out 24/7, 365, any day, any time to put out any fires. Well, not actual fire. There's a better number for that. But when it comes to plumbing, call One Tom Plumber.
Welcome back into the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. We are continuing our preview of East Alabama wrestling teams. Christmas has come and gone, but we are almost essentially at the halfway point of wrestling season. Today we are almost on the Georgia state line. We're at Ranburne High School talking with the Ranburne Bulldogs. You just heard from Coach Meter. We are now with two Ranburne Bulldog wrestlers, one who is still undefeated on the season, Zach Buchanan, and then also Carter Driver as well. Carter, you still undefeated?
No, sadly not.
Not yet. He's not undefeated, but he's still a very, very good, solid wrestler for the Bulldogs. Two guys that you can definitely expect to see in Huntsville come February. But, guys, let's talk about wrestling, kind of what got you guys into wrestling. So we'll start with you, Zach. Kind of what got you into wrestling?
It's really just a family thing. My dad did wrestling. My brother did wrestling, so they kind of passed it down to me, and I took on with it and tried to do as best as I can in the sport.
All right, what about you, Carter? What got you into wrestling?
Same deal, the family. I have two older brothers that wrestle, and they got me into it, and since I've been in love with it.
Guys, talk about wrestling for Ranburne. What's it like just to be a Bulldog? I mean, this is a different kind of place. I tell people, if you're going to Ranburne and you're in the middle of nowhere, you're in the right place. So, you know, y'all come from the middle of nowhere, but it's just a program that has traditionally been good for many, many years. Way back when I was in school, this program was good. And you guys are part of trying to continue that legacy. Just talk about what it means to you to be a Ranburne Bulldog.
It means a lot, you know, being the smallest school, going to state 2 times in 4 years is a big accomplishment to us. So I think just being a part of this team is a lot better than being a part of like most teams that don't care about the sport as much as we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Carter, for you, man, just talk about what it's like to be part of Ranburne's program.
Well, I feel like this team is really just a family in the way that we're all there for each other through the sport and off the mats. It's really just a great feeling to know you have all those people there for you through the sport.
Absolutely. Let's talk about kind of the off-season. One thing that a lot of people do, I don't know if you guys play multiple sports or not, if you did any off-season training, but I've asked every team just talk a little bit about the off-season, what they did during the off-season to get better, whether it's summer wrestling, whether it's club wrestling, whatever it is there anything you guys did to get better during the off-season?
So I do, like I said, my dad, he was in the pro wrestling, and my brother done the pro wrestling now, and I plan to do that. So I do a lot of pro wrestling, and that does, even though, you know, it's not the real deal, it does fold in with the real wrestling and chain wrestling and just stuff like that. So it keeps me fresh and on the mats.
All right, well, that's going to take me to my next question. But, Carter, let's come over to you. Just talk about the off-season. Did you do anything during the off-season?
Yes, during the summers, I go up there towards White Plains, and we have off-season practice every weekend.
Okay. Now, Zach, you're talking about you do some pro wrestling. What kind of pro wrestling are we talking about, like WWE?
WWE pro wrestling. Yep, I get out there and you know, I show my moves off. You know, do my thing.
All right. What's your are you the Terminator? What's your WWE name?
I'm the shooter, Zach Buchanan. You know, I'm as real as it gets around here.
Is that the future you're gonna pursue?
Yeah, that's what I hope on doing. I don't really see any plans in college or anything. I just want to go straight to it like my brother did.
All right, Carter, you think he's going to be the next NXT superstar to get the call up?
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to do great. He's got that legacy behind him.
Oh, I got to tell you, so when you get big and famous and you're doing WWE and Michael Cole gets ready to retire, you going to tell him about me? That way I can get me a little interview?
I got you. I'll get you an interview, I promise.
All right, let's talk about the season up to this point. You guys have wrestled in some really big 1A through 4A tournaments. Walter Welburn's tournament was a really good tournament with good competition. Weaver's always a really good tournament. And then you guys just got to host your own tournament this past, just 2 weeks ago. So just talk about the wrestling up to this point in this season, kind of what you've seen, an area where you feel like you need to improve down the stretch.
I feel like 175 is a really good weight class. It's going to get better or worse because you have people dropping and bumping and all this good stuff. But, yeah, overall, I think the wrestling's been really good in this weight class, and most weight classes have been really good this year. Alabama wrestling's getting better just in general. But, yeah, I mean, 175 is real stacked. The weight class competition's real hard, so it just keeps me on the go, and I'm constantly getting better when I wrestle these kids.
Carter, what about you? Just kind of talk about how things have been for you so far this season.
I completely agree with Zach as far as Alabama wrestling growing and getting better. I feel like this season I still haven't reached where I need to be by the end, but we're getting there, and I think I'm going to have a good year this year.
Guys, talk about this team. What is it about this team that nobody probably knows?
Oh man, it's really like how close we are together, and I feel like where we get all that is because like the practice is just straight suffering. Honestly, like the running, the drilling, all that good stuff. I mean, it's just you suffer together, you gonna go in glory together. So I mean, I look at it that way with this team, and I don't think many other teams have that besides us. So.
Carter, what about you as well? Talk about this team, maybe something that people wouldn't know about this team specifically.
I think that the work ethic and the level of hard work that we put in on a day-to-day basis that maybe goes unrecognized on the mats, but really helps us once we get out there.
What's Coach like at practice? I mean, you see Coach, he's a big jacked guy that looks like he probably is 100-0 all the time. But some guys will surprise you. He may be the calmest, most collective guy. I don't know. But just talk about him. What's he like at practice? Is he a loud guy? Is he really intense? Or is he kind of laid back? I mean, he doesn't give me the laid back vibes, but y'all can tell me.
For like with the drilling and stuff, he usually lets us take it on our own, and you know he's kind of more laid back about the drilling. But when it comes to cardio, you know, like it's Army Coach Meter out there. Like he's gonna get to it and he's gonna yell at you, but I mean it's worth it.
Carter, what's Coach like at practice?
Like Zach said, during the drills and stuff, he's more calm, but definitely don't make him mad. It turns a new leaf, and it seems like roid rage comes out.
Is there anybody on the team y'all think Coach is harder on? It just seems like there's somebody at practice that he is always up their grill. So who is that person?
It's definitely Curtis Daniel. It's definitely Curtis Daniel. Curtis Daniel is just he's always getting bullied. It's Curtis, definitely.
Curtis Daniel. Carter, do you agree?
I agree. Curtis just has a special act for getting on Coach's nerve.
All right, let's talk about just kind of this. Or let me rephrase this. Coach chose you two to do this interview. So when a coach chooses two guys, in my opinion, he's saying that you're the leaders of this team. What does that mean to you that Coach would choose you to do this interview?
I mean, it means a lot. It means that he trusts me with how we, you know, put the image of our team out there to all the other teams. So I'm very grateful for that.
Carter, what about you? What does it mean to you that Coach would choose you?
Well, it means a lot to me. I feel like it's showing that he has trust in us to be the leaders of this team and to keep this team on the right track, doing the right thing throughout the season.
All right, the rest of the season ahead after Christmas, January is kind of that grind time where you're trying to hit your peak before you get into February. What are you guys looking forward to the most down the stretch?
Really just getting as many matches as we can and getting that undefeated record to keep going. That's my main goal right there.
All right, what about you, Carter?
I'm excited. I'm dropping down a weight class, going to 108. I'm excited to see the competition there and see how things are going to play out for sectionals and state.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for the Locker Room. We appreciate you watching today, as always. Thank you for watching the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.